You see, in 2015, Nigerians united to end 16 years of PDP rule. In 2023, millions believed they were witnessing a political rebirth.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But now, in 2027, history might repeat itself again. Another opposition alliance. Another promise to rescue Nigeria once again. But what if this is déjà vu? Disguised as hope. Because here's the truth, coalitions don't win elections, strategy does. And while APC, PDP and Labour parties scramble to unite, Tinubu's machinery is already 10 steps ahead. This is the untold story of why the Anti-Tinubu alliance might already be too late, and how Nigeria has become a chessboard where kings never fall. You see, in 2023, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president, many called this a political miracle because after all, he had battled health rumors, public backlash, and opposition from his own party, and a youth-led political awakening. But yet, he stood victorious. But you see, that victory wasn't random. It was built over the decades in boardrooms, ballot boxes, and backdoor political alliances. You see, Tinubu wasn't just a political candidate, he was a kingmaker turned king. A man who understands from his days of being governor of Lagos that you don't need everyone's love to become president, just enough of their loyalty. You see, he built his empire brick by brick, first turning Lagos into his fortress, then creating a political network that would become the APC, then brokering deals, funding campaigns, and placing allies. You see, in 2015, when Buhari became president, Tinubu wasn't just in power, he was power. And even when it seemed like the Northern Bloc had used him and tossed him aside, he made a comeback, not with noise, but with strategy. He traveled the north, activated old alliances, and made use of every relationship he had, from Kano to Katsina. So in 2027, we're not just talking about Tinubu, the president, we're talking about Tinubu, the strategist, the man who mastered Nigeria's most chaotic political terrain and came on top. By mid-2024, the political moment had grown into chorus. The economy was struggling and insecurity was back in the headlines, and fuel subsidies had been removed, triggering protests and panic. I mean, it was clear as day, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was vulnerable. Sensing blood in the water, the opposition began to circle. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, long considered as a fringe party, suddenly rebranded itself as the face of the anti-Tinubu movement. But you see, the ADC wasn't acting alone. From Peter Obi's Labour Party to Atiku Abubakar's PDP, rumors of a united front began to surface. You see, the logic was simple. If Tinubu could win in 2023 with a minority vote, then the only way to defeat him is to unite. And so, the Meda Alliance was born. At the center of it stood Ralph Nwosu, ADC's national chairman, who publicly declared to create a broad coalition of political parties, civil society groups, and youth-led movements in one banner. You see, the dream was clear, a political opposition that could gather Obi's passionate youth base and Atiku's northern reach, combined with Kwankwaso's Kano machine. On paper, it was a giant killer, but here's the problem. Nigeria's opposition coalitions don't really have a strong history. In 2011, the Save Nigeria group tried something similar and failed. In 2019, PDP and other parties formed the CUPP, Coalition of United Political Parties. It made noise but failed even before elections even began. Because in Nigeria, unity isn't strategy, it's negotiation. You see, each player in the ADC has different goals. Peter Obi wants restructuring and fiscal reform. Atiku wants to finally clinch the presidential position. Kwankwaso wants relevance and Kano dominance. Youth groups want transparency and justice. Civil society wants anti-corruption and reform. But you see, the important question is who leads, who steps down, and who funds the campaign. That's where the craft begins. No one wants to play second fiddle. Everyone believes they can win or should win. Meanwhile, Tinubu isn't just watching, he's doing what he does best, working in the back channel, meeting governors, funding quiet projects, and making promises. And slowly but surely, the ADC dream began looking like wishful thinking. To understand why Tinubu might still win in 2027, you have to stop looking at him as just another president, but for who he really is, a political architect. Since the days of Nadeko and exile in the 90s, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been quietly building an empire, not of guns, but of influence. While other politicians ran for offices, Tinubu was slowly building king. From Fashola to Ambode to Sanwo-Olu, he installed 3 successive governors in Lagos State, one of the most powerful and wealthiest states in the whole of Nigeria. You see, he didn't just stop there. Ekiti, he had a hand. Osun, check very well. Ogun, loyalists. APC party structure still deeply loyal, especially in the southwest. But Tinubu's genius isn't just in making allies, but in building systems that outlive elections. From traditional rulers to religious influencers, he has woven himself into Nigeria's socio-political fabric. In the 2023 elections, while the opposition was tweeting hashtags, Tinubu's men were on ground negotiating, influencing, and leveraging decades of IOUs. And let's not forget, Emi Lokan. That Emi Lokan moment, while many mocked it, it galvanized the base. It framed the election not as a race for Nigeria, but a reward for loyalty. A promise fulfilled, and millions bought into it. Now, let's talk money. Election campaigns in Nigeria don't just run on ideals, they run on cash, reach, and strategy. And not many knows how to move campaign funds, logistics, and mobilization like Tinubu's camp. You see, he doesn't just spend money, he invests it in influence. Even in the north, a region where he once had limited reach, he made inroads. He formed pacts with governors, formed alliances with kingmakers, and used appointment and political rewards to build new alliances. It's this network of power, loyalty, and structure that makes Tinubu very hard to beat. Even when he's unpopular, the system doesn't need him to be loved. It needs him to be strategic. Meanwhile, the opponents are still arguing about consensus candidates. And by the time they finish negotiating, Tinubu would have already secured half of the chessboard. But on a serious note, here is the bitter truth. Nigerians are tired, but not always decisive. They say we want change, but when it's time to vote, they ask, who will win himself? Because in Nigeria, many don't vote for what they believe, they vote for what they think will win. In 2023, the economy was bleeding, the naira was tanking, 4 queues were back, but yet Tinubu won. Why? Because elections in Nigeria aren't about issues, they're about ethnical alliances, religious sentiment, my person votes, and most of all, fear of wasted votes. In the north, where numbers are king, the political structure is barely block deals. Once a regional leader endorses someone, the votes flow like a river following gravity. You see, in the southwest, Tinubu still commands deep loyalty. You see, not because everyone loves him, but many people see him as our own person. I mean, you hear people say things like, na Yoruba kind, we no go waste time. Yoruba Lokan. Even among the youth, some of which campaigned against him fiercely online. The truth is, a good number didn't vote, others couldn't even vote. Some simply didn't believe that their votes would count, and apathy won. But here is where it gets ironic. See, despite the complaints about hardship, some people still associate hardship with sacrifice. They say things like, it's painful now, but maybe not the pain we need. Or more, let's give him time. Shebi Buhari spent 8 years. So even when things aren't working, the idea of we should endure small had become a silent form of loyalty. And now, let's not forget the sweet talk. In 2027, Tinubu will campaign again, but this time as an incumbent. This comes with control of power, control of INEC logistics, and the most potent tool in Nigerian elections, last-minute empowerment. You know it. Rice, wrappers, 5K, 10K, branded buckets. I mean, some Nigerians prefer stomach infrastructure rather than country infrastructure. Make I chop first. Now they are alive in the same Nigeria. I mean, this is not a joke. For many people, one bag of rice equals one vote. And while the oppositions might focus on grammar and grand ideas, Tinubu can't understand that this game is won on ground and not on Twitter. So even if your Baba is cutting Tinubu today, give him a well-timed palliative in 2027, and he might be saying, nah, him we know, we'll just continue. And you see, that is the reality. Sad maybe, but real, absolutely. So let's talk strategy. So the so-called Anti-Tinubu alliance with the ADC wants to rescue Nigeria. But let's be honest, this is not the first time we are hearing this. Remember 2015, the same rescue rhetoric was used against Jonathan. And in 2023, same thing against Buhari. And now in 2027, it's been recycled against Tinubu. But here's the truth, Nigerians don't vote because of alliances, they vote because of conviction, incentives, and maybe fear. And so far, the new coalition had failed on all three. You see, every winning election in Nigeria had a clear face and a story behind it. In 1999, it was Obasanjo, the reconciler after military rule. In 2015, it was Buhari, the anti-corruption general. In 2023, it was Tinubu, the Emi Lokan strongman with structure. But you see, this ADC alliance has no clear face and no clear momentum. They say we'll present a candidate later. For Nigeria, they play. But on a serious note, you see, politics is timing. Nigerians follow a face, not a logo. You see, by the time they pick a candidate, Tinubu would have toured the whole state with a new bridge, borehole, or feeding program, all courtesy of taxpayers' money repackaged as campaign. You see, Tinubu's biggest strength is structure. You see, while others are holding Twitter spaces, his party is holding town halls in rural villages, places where internet never reached or PVC day. ADC and others, mostly elite-driven, noisy on paper, and quiet in polling units. If you want a win in Nigeria, you need women leaders at world level, youth mobilizers on the ground, religious endorsements, whether you like it or not. Money not only for rigging, but for present. You see, a coalition without rules will always fall when the wind of reality blows. You see, let's not pretend. Obi, Atiku, Showore, Kwankwaso, they all want to be president. If they all run separately like in 2023, Tinubu wins again with minority votes. It's simple maths. In 2023, Tinubu won with just 8.7 million votes, the lowest winning vote since 1999, but still won because the opposition was split. So if ADC is not merging with PDP or LP or forming a real united front, then what exactly are they doing? Because let's be honest with ourselves, coalition without cohesion is just English. You see, while Tinubu is selling renewed hope, the coalition is selling anger. You see, you can't just come and say he failed. Nigerians know that already. I mean, what's your plan? What's your messaging machine? And most importantly, what's your narrative of the future? If your entire plan is to remove Tinubu, then people will start asking, okay, and then it's who? And if you don't have a compelling answer, they will go back to what they know, no matter how painful it is. You see, the real campaign starts in 2026, so if you are not building today, you are already behind. Tinubu has the presidency, the budget, the INEC influence, and the party that has mastered survival politics. The ADC and allies have press release and maybe good intentions. But you see, even good intentions don't win elections, not in Nigeria. You see, if 2027 is truly going to be different, the opposition needs a united front, a clear candidate, a grassroots army, and a message that inspires, not just complains. And most importantly, patience, strategy, and timing. Because, like it or not, Tinubu understands this game more than anyone else. And unless someone is better, it's not going anywhere, man. You see, the Nigerian politics is not a straight line. It's a puzzle of history, power, and hard choices. You see, the 2027 elections won't just be about who has the loudest campaigns, but we are who understands the streets. Will Tinubu remain in power, or will Nigeria experience a political upset? But only time and strategy will tell. But you see, one thing is clear. Power doesn't change by accident, it changes by design. If you found this video thought-provoking, share it and drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you are new here, what are you doing, man? Hit that subscribe button, because this is where Africa's untold stories are being told without fear, fluff, or filters. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.